Do we have a table for that?
Yeah, I do. See, there's but I only got 2 seats. I told David all Are you there? Good.
I like the shirt.
Oh, well, thank you. You never might get a newspaper.
That's true.
Oh, wonderful. You know it's going down. All I can say is going down. All right. What's up, everybody? How's it going today?
We got to learn from that. They did it
Please, these 2 seats are available.
That's right.
Yeah.
Peace and blessings, everyone. I can't think of a better occasion to get together than to honor our friend, our warrior, our champion, our hero, one of the baddest men on the planet. At least I know walking and talking. But we want to center ourselves because we've been waiting a long time for this day. Come on in, family, come on in. We've been waiting a long time for this day. And so when you say their names, you have to know that it is synonymous with some other great leaders down through history. You have to talk about them in the same phraseology as you would the loyalty that in the Bible Ruth represented. You have to mention the steadfastness of Esther when she said, if I perish, let me perish.
Yes.
You have to speak of them in the same context as the leadership of Joshua. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. You have to talk about Edward and Dorothy Pinkney in the same mindset that built the institutions that Nehemiah was a part of coordinating. You must talk about Hezekiah and what he represented in a mind of justice. You have to talk about Deborah, who represented the courage, and that of Daniel as he went into the lion's den. See, they represent the spiritual steadfastness of being a revolutionary leader and warrior. See, sometimes we forget that in this struggle there's a spiritual warfare that's happening.
Yeah, that's it. Come on, my sister.
And what we know is that we've been counted as sheep for the slaughter. And many of our comrades and friends and neighbors have been killed all the day long. But my Bible tells me, nay, in all of these things, we're more than conquerors. So Reverend Edward Pinckney and Dorothy Pinkney have exhibited the sweetness of Mother Rosa Parks, the mission of Nelson Mandela, the ministry of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, and then who among us can find a good man or good woman? Well, I would say to you today in the city of Detroit, we found such a man and we have found such a woman in the Reverend Edward Pinckney and Queen Mother Dorothy Pinkney. As you come in the room, come on in the room.
Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves and free our minds. Have no fear of your atomic energy. They cannot stop the tide. And how long must they kill our prophets while we stand aside and love? Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill. Won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption songs, these songs of freedom.
It's been a long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. When I go to the movies, when I go downtown, people they always tell me, don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. When I go to my brother, and I say, brother, 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 could you help me please? But he's knocking me, 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 like that on my feet. There was a time when I thought I would last the road, but now I know I've got the strength to carry on. And it's been a long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. When I go to my brother, and I say, brother, 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 could you help me please? But it just keeps knocking me, knocking me, knocking me, on my feet. There is a time when I thought I would last for long, but now I know I've got the strength to carry on. And it's been a long time coming, it's been a long, long time coming. And it's been a long, long time coming. And it's been a long, 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 long time. But I know change is gonna come.
Monica Moorhead from the National Secretariat of Workers' World Party of New York. Oblique statement.
It is such an honor to be asked to speak on behalf of Workers' World Party Secretariat on such a great day of celebration and reflection. The celebration, of course, is the release of our dear brother, Reverend Pinckney, from his unjust incarceration of over 2 years. The reflection includes his principles and practice, and also the decisive role that the movement played.
A ruthless global union busting anti-people corporation, guilty of oppression and exploitation from Palestine to Flint, Michigan to India to Boston, Massachusetts. In a 26-month battle, we recently defeated Veolia/Transdev's racist and anti-worker frame-ups. Their illegal firing of four of our leaders, the attempted frame-up on a felony charge of our vice president, and their denial of economic and union justice for our members. In the end, our militant rank and file, united in solidarity with the communities we serve and the labor and political movements, proved decisive in our victory to reinstate our leaders, beat the court frame-up, and win a historic contract for our members. When we fight, we win. At our June 22nd, 2017 membership meeting, the membership resounded with thunderous applause to the report of your release from prison. Please know, Reverend Pinckney, that United Steelworkers Local 8751 will always have your back. Solidarity forever.
All right, that's Brother Tom, and he's also a UAW member. Which local? 1291, he had to think. Okay, all right, we're going to move.
Thank you all. It's a pleasure to be here in celebration of the release of Reverend Pinckney. We are all his supporters. On behalf of the Wright family and AFT Local 2000 at Wayne County Community College, I want to say, in the words of Dr. King, that justice denied anywhere is justice denied everywhere. So with that, we stand in solidarity with you and with Reverend Pinckney and all activists who are fighting on behalf of justice, equality, and freedom. Thank you.
So we're just so happy and delighted that you're home. I gave Mrs. a little bit of an envelope because I know the Reverend loves cash, but she's responsible. Mary.
This really looks beautiful. And to welcome a soldier back among us, a private at that. It's great for all of us. And you know, we've been wanting to hear him on, to see him as well as hear him. But you know, we have faith in him because he would always bring the enthusiasm to you when you're down, and he maintained that. I want to say to you, old man, we really missed you and being able to see you and hang out with you. But, you know, you kept the lines hot. Yes. And let me tell you about that little old Dorothy. Dorothy, you ought to thank God every day for Dorothy. That's right. And thank the science, the science of Marxism and everything else. You know, because she kept it going. In fact, you know, I don't know if you knew the first time they sent him to prison, I said, Dorothy, you got to get out here and do the speaking and stuff. What can I talk about? I said to myself, well, I can't speak about it. And let me tell you, she hasn't stopped one time. And she's a hell of a speaker. So I'm proud to be among you again. It's time for you to begin to work again outside. Although they might bring you back inside, but we're going to try to keep you outside this time because we need you, and we got to continue to build this movement. And I want to thank personally from our organization and from everybody in here, Marcina, because she done a hell of a job. She don't let you off the phone. I couldn't keep up with you. But thank you for doing the jobs that y'all have done. And we're so happy to be here. And let's continue this fight.
All right.
All right, Friday.
Let's fight. Let's fight. Let's fight. Yeah. I like that. This is like a family reunion. And such a day of celebration and rejoice.
We're just so happy everybody is here. As we begin to serve the head table, then we're going to serve the rest of the tables as well. We need some kind of system. We're so happy that this room is flowing over. Let's give him a hand. So we're going to figure, I think we should probably start in the back. What you guys think? The back say yeah, huh? Okay, we'll go one in the back and one in the front. All right, that sounds good. Okay. So we're gonna start in the back and then one in the front and vice versa.
Okay. Over here, I guess on the right first or the left?
There was a young lady who lived at her store. My cousin burned it down. She doesn't live there anymore. Everyone was so excited, having lots of fun. And Daddy out again with a shotgun. Mama said, we'll go window shopping today. Through the broken windows, we went shopping and didn't pay. It was better than the grand opening. Everything was free. I got a bike, clothes, and a color TV. It must be Christmas in July. I got presents nobody had to buy. One thing remains a mystery to me. It started over a pig that couldn't see. I'm trying to remember something I heard in the past. People who live in stone houses shouldn't throw glass. While we were out looting, like it was a game, one of our neighbors set our home aflame. Looking at the burning cinders smoldering on the ground, a reporter asked if my house burnt up. I said no, it burnt down. Mama's in jail because of her looting. Papa's dead because of the shooting. I think we should have waited until December to buy, instead of looting and shooting, having Christmas in July. Somebody had to suffer, so why shouldn't it be me? Anybody want to trade a daddy for a bike, clothes, and color TV?
Whoa.
Thank you. I think the controversy still exists. And this is something I wrote recently, a couple years ago. And it's from a historical perspective. And I call this a house of cards divided. Some reports say about 1,000 unarmed folk were killed by police in 2015. Youth crime on the rise, and some peaceful protesters turned violent. In 2015, official unemployment was 5.4%. Unofficial employment was at least 10.5%. Male youth unemployment for whites was 33% for those 17 to 20 years old. Male youth unemployment for Hispanics was 36% for those 17 to 20 years old. Male youth unemployment for blacks was 51% for those 17 to 20 years old. This is from Bernie Sanders' video on youth unemployment 2015. Unemployment for males, rich, white, greedy, evil, racist property owners is 0%. Because they work overtime, making America great again, and making losers wage slaves, sending them to debtor's prison on trumped up charges. Jefferson's passage against slavery was the most important section removed from the final document of the Declaration of Independence and debate over slavery. Was the Civil War an oxymoron, or just plain stupid when Great Britain gave up slavery while America kept it going? Did most Americans prefer Western expansion over the emancipation of slavery? Did Lincoln pay the ultimate price for the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments that finally ended slavery? The Constitution, Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, the abolitionist movement, and Harriet Beecher Stowe's On the Time Cabin, a best-selling novel, 1852, denouncing slavery, could not prevent the Civil War. Is Making America Great Again having this 21st century Civil War with the Klan and Jim Crow dressed in business suits and dresses to kill? We had a Civil War because the Democrats wanted to expand slavery and Republicans wanted to end it, free blacks, and repeal the Dred Scott decision. The Black Lives Matter movement does lots of important things, has many great ideas, and some slogans that are very harmful to others. Does that matter? Things are still mixed up and confused today, and folk are still talking crazy. Who's going to run this country? The psychopaths, the oligarchs, the plutocrats, the socialists, Republicans, Democrats, or all or none of the above. The game is rigged, the deck is stacked, the joker is wild. If you play and win with the ace of spades, they'll say you're playing the race card. New DNA suggests, get this, new DNA suggests Lincoln's biological father was black. Thank you.
Wow.
He was a candidate the first time he was in prison for some other charge that was made up. We have had our state membership meeting at his church in Benton Harbor. We also have a group that is going to go back to Benton Harbor and do some door-to-door canvassing. We are doing recruitment where no one has gone before. As a party, we're recruiting, we are informing people in low-income areas that there is a party available for them. And I do not use the term middle class or low class. We're all classy people.
And the nuances of differences, the capitalists have destroyed all of us. And we're under the gun every day. And we've learned we have to come together in the class struggle. We can put aside our differences when we're fighting for water, when we're fighting for housing, when we're fighting so our youth can have jobs. It's a common fight against an exploitive system that doesn't give a damn about any of us. And we're going to keep fighting, and it's so wonderful to see activists like this today. Pinkney in the 90s when there was rebellion in Benton Harbor, and Reverend Pinckney was the voice of the voiceless back then.
Yes.
In fighting police brutality.
Yes.
In fighting against Aramark. I remember meeting a young woman who fought Aramark, and it was Reverend Pinckney who gave voice to her struggle. And we love Reverend Pinckney, and Reverend Pinckney isn't just a reverend, he's a revolutionary. Our newspaper workers, well, we're proud to have covered Reverend Pinckney. And we see our coverage of Reverend Pinckney in the same light that we see of the coverage of political prisoners all over the country, and people like Mumia Abu-Jamal, of Leonard Peltier, who's been in prison as a Native American for over 40 years, 50 years now, for fighting this system. Oscar Lopez, who just won his freedom a couple weeks ago. It's a common struggle of all oppressed people. Our paper gives free subscriptions to prisoners, and we do that because we view that really every prisoner in this country is a political prisoner. Yes. Because who fills the prisoners? It isn't the rich and the criminals, it's the oppressed people who are pushed into prison by the prison industrial complex. We will empty the prisons. Our youth need jobs, and once we build a socialist system and overthrow this rotten system, we're going to empty the prisons, and we're going to fill them with the people who need to be in them, with the Trumps and the all of us.
All right, got us fired up again.
So many others need to know that we have to fight every day.
Yes.
You know, each day is a struggle. You know, Detroit Active Retirement Employee Association is a group made up principally of City of Detroit retirees and active workers and concerned citizens. You know, they've been fighting the bankruptcy, fighting a whole bunch of other things that's wrong in the city. But there's a lot of things that's wrong all over this state. You know.
Yeah.
It's tragic. You know, that Reverend Pinckney had to go to jail.
That's right.
And it's tragic that we have so many of our friends, our brothers and our sisters, going through so much, crimes are committed against them. They're not committing crimes, but crimes are committed against us every day. As we celebrate Reverend Pinckney being back, we also have to remember the fight continues, the struggle continues. Each day, we have to think about our other brothers and sisters that are not as fortunate. Each day, my pension, health care was stolen.
Yes, right.
But, what's even worse than that, we have people in this city, this great city, that don't have water.
That's right.
We have people in this city that are barely surviving. And that's wrong.
Yes.
We can't just say, oh yes, the boss, I be good. That does not work. It does not work. We all need to be united. We all have different issues. We all got different issues, different concerns. Well, our main concern should be each other and our communities. So we have to stand up, join hands, and fight these demons.
That's right.
You know, you can't turn your back. You know, you can't take 40 pieces of silver and think it's going to be all right. You know, we are on a mission.
Yes.
And our mission is not over. Reverend Pinckney is free from his imprisonment, but none of us are truly free.
Say that.
As long as we are all under the yoke of oppression. So brothers and sisters, we need to welcome him being back.
That's right.
But we cannot stop. We cannot be satisfied. Each day is a new challenge, and we have a lot to fight for. You know, my kids are grown. But you know, not only do I have to fight for my kids, grandkids, what have you, we have to fight for other people's kids and grandkids.
That's right.
You know, far too often, too many black and brown people are being stopped throughout, you know, this nation and being shot for no reason. I mean, how in the blank is it justified to shoot an unarmed person? It should never be acceptable. It should never be acceptable. It should never be acceptable that they cutting off your neighbor's water. At the same time, you have these rich, fat cats, you know, like
corporate America.
You know, that they could owe hundreds of thousands of dollars of water bills, but their water's not cut off. You know, we got people that's polluting our city, and you know, they get to pollute more and more. You know, so there's a lot of stuff that we need to be fighting on. And I hope you will join the battle. We continue to fight. We fight because we're right.
That's right. All right.
Power to the people!
My name is Brenda Session, and I'm a member of National Action Network and Moratorium Now. And although we have never formally met, I used to see Reverend Pinckney around. And I'm new at social activism, and I need to let Reverend Pinckney know how much of an inspiration he is to me.
All right.
And how he embodies everything an activist is supposed to be.
Right.
He's dedicated, courageous, speaking truth to power, and his strength never faltered, even as he was going through the unjust court ordeal. I want to thank Reverend Pinckney for fighting for the oppressed. And I had the pleasure of creating a sign that allowed me to expose Reverend Pinckney's ordeal to the world. And there were 3 occasions when I got to carry the sign. The first one was a protest that, can y'all hear me? I'm sorry. Well, the first one was a protest at the DIA, and the second was a protest march in Flint, and the third was at the RNC in Cleveland. And it felt good getting Reverend Pinckney's story out there when I was interviewed by the journalists. So thank you, Reverend Pinckney, and may God, our Lord and Savior, keep you safe. Deuteronomy 31:6 says, "Be strong, courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." So thank you, Reverend Pinckney, and glad you're out. Praise the Lord.
So can you hear me now? Yeah. Oh, great. I'm sorry. We can hear you. Listen, the one thing that I wanted to say today with regards to Reverend Pinckney is that I'm angry because we weren't strong enough to keep him out of the penitentiary. And we have a number of people, in the terms of the struggle, who are being kicked to the curb by corporations and all. But what they need is an education. Reverend Pinckney, like myself, is a propagandist. The organization that I came from, and he and I have a fellow comrade named General Gordon Baker.
All right.
You know General Gordon Baker. And in order to get what we want to do, when we get into the battlefield, then we have to teach. There are millions of people out there who've been thrown to the curb, but they don't have an understanding. I'm not talking about math or science, an understanding of the system, whereby the corporations have joined with the government. That's why they take the right. You elect the city council, you can elect the man, they come and take it and do what they want. And one of the most things that they do is use the race card. And you know that race genetically, scientifically does not exist. But politically it is used. And basically migrants. Now they want us to fight China and Russia. But we got problems here. So as a propagandist, when we leave here, we need to celebrate Reverend Pinckney, but we got to get back in the South, but we got to understand what is the vision? Who is the enemy that basically is trying to get us offset, like taking us in different directions? So anyway, Reverend Pinckney, glad you're home, brother, but we got a lot of work to do.
Right now I want to bring up Marcina Cole. And Marcina has been a tireless fighter on behalf of Reverend Pinckney for the last 3 years, at least.
Basically, a lot of people that came before me had said some of the things that I was going to say since I was last on the program. But I just so elated and just overwhelmed with joy to see Mrs. Pinkney and Reverend Pinckney together again. We rode to Marquette. We were on a mission. You know, it took us hours to get there with another activist, Jackie Miller. From there, Jackie Miller in Ann Arbor to Benton Harbor and stayed overnight in Pinkney home. And then from there, the next morning, we went to Marquette Prison. Quite frightening, I tell you. But that's the way mass incarceration is. It's no picnic. Reverend Pinckney was fighting for his life in Marquette. He had been in various prisons throughout his stay when he was sentenced by Judge Shaw 2.5 to 10 years, allegedly altered base of a recall petition against the former mayor of Hightower. It was just, purely just outright lie, kangaroo court, and they were out to get him because he spoke against the Whirlpool Corporation takeover, and this is going on across the country. It's not isolated in Benton Harbor. So we're in a lot of trouble these days, people. We have to wake up and come together as one. I know it's so many groups is represented here today, but understand me, the common denominator is the same. We're fighting for equality and justice. We're fighting for environmental justice. We know about environmental racism when it comes down to taking our water, our food. Just go to southwest Detroit, where the oil refinery is light up all 24/7. Then you wonder why it's increasing people with cancer. So it's not just Flint that's going on. It's horrific when people can't even stay in their homes. They're losing their homes. They have no food. The food is poisoned by Roundup. We must understand that there's no bees out there. They're just killing us. You understand? They're either locking us up or they have the KK police that's killing our brothers and sisters. I'm with another organization with that too. We got to continue to fight. And don't think because folks is in prison today that they belong there. Not true. We got folks been in there for 40 freaking years and did not do the crime to do the time. Because you don't have a family member, because you don't have a friend there, don't mean you should not get involved, people. The people are hurting in prison, behind bars. I spoke in reference to Kim Ross uprising in last September 2016, where solitary confinement over 200 because they spoke against the atrocities that Reverend Pinckney had dealt with. He could not eat the food. It's poison, rat infested. He did not eat the food. He relied on care packages and vending machines, and most cases was not healthy foods. And trust me, he loved the food that he had today. We take things for granted. But nevertheless, there was an action last June, and so I was a part of that. And I just want to say the struggle continues when it comes down to mass incarceration. We marched in Michigan Department of Corrections, Heidi Washington House, and I was one of the speakers. Yes, we did. The police didn't know about it because we didn't put it on social media. That's what it's all about. That's right. You know, my old buddy talking about revolutionary, okay? And I know some out here activists or whatever. Some folks can't get out there, but you can make a phone call. If you can't do that, tell somebody else to speak for you in your behalf.
That's right.
You understand? You got here today. There was food today. Reverend Pinckney and Mrs. Pinckney's here. And so we all need to sit together, line with your contact, communicate with each other. I know some folk hate folk. Forget all that. We ain't got time, because Trump is in this house. Trump is in the house destroying a very fabric of democracy, taking away our rights, tripling down. You know what I'm saying? He don't know nothing. But the qualification that he had is being white. You understand? White and ignorant. Okay? He running the country, and you gonna sit there and not say nothing? Trust me. He going over there overseas, don't know what he's talking about, really? Trying to get in war with the nuclear war with North Korea? What fool around with North Korea? Thank you. Trust me. Don't, for those who voted for Trump, I know you shot your own self in the foot. For those who didn't vote, then I know you regret that. But my point is, the fight continues. This man is a demagogue, he's a racist. And that's all it took for him to be a president of the United States. We got to remove and impeach this mother Scooter, get them out here, and Paul Ryan, Sessions, all of them. Because they don't care about you being poor. They care about you being super rich and powerful. The corporations, not just Whirlpool, but all over this country, because you got lobbyists that's running this country. You understand that? Yeah. That's who the politicians is working for. It ain't working for the people. Get that? So when you vote the right people. Stop putting people in office because they name. Thank you. Put people that will represent you. Because your tax dollars is paying for them mother schools that destroy your family. So on the other hand, but I want to say this. I got fired up. I love the Pinkneys. She is my sister, and he is my brother. He's continuing to fight. He's out free, and you know the white folks is going to watch him. But he ain't scared. He's still rolling. And yes, I'm like apprehensive about that. I care about the brother. He's an activist, civil rights activist. Yes, he is. He's known over across the country and abroad. Don't minimize Reverend Pinckney. He's been out here fighting for a long time. Folks got scared. They was intimidated by the courts of Barron County. Like, look, Reverend Pinckney, you see what happened to him? He got 2.5 to 10 years alleged alternate dates on recall petition. But you got white rapists out there. You got white men embezzling money. Understand that? Didn't even get a freaking year. They try to put him in there for 10 years. They still gonna watch him, but he ain't scared. Because he gonna be out here fighting. He gonna have another demonstration July 11th. So you understand? So it's always a fight. So let's join him in the fight. Let's join Mrs. Pinkney because she held it down. Yeah. It don't matter. You got 3 or you got 50 folks. But you got somebody that's scared and got your back. That's what it's all about. Love you, brother and sister, but let me say this, Reverend Pinckney, he's dynamic. Words can't even describe how I really feel about this man. I went through snow, sleet, hell to visit Reverend Pinckney. You understand that? I could not see, but God had my back. Seriously, I had to pull over the side of the road. I was on my route to go see Reverend Pinckney. I'm here today. I've been protected. You understand that? When I'm on, God said, I ain't through with you yet. He ain't through with you. He ain't through with you. We got work to do. So let's join the fight. Power to the people. Yeah. I asked him when he said, I said, Reverend Pinckney, what should I said, anything you want to have? He said, Marcy, you know you're going to hold it down. But I want to say this. I do have a page for Reverend Pinckney all about all supporters for Reverend Pinckney on social media. I have a show or whatever conference call. They call from various states. It started off with Reverend Pinckney. We still fighting. You understand? They just changed the name. But we ain't free until all of us is. You understand that? And right now, welcoming Reverend Pinckney with all this good food. We filled up. I'm surprised I wouldn't sleep after the food. But Reverend Pinckney, I want to introduce him. Obviously, people have came before me and talked about, you know, what he's been involved in for so long, and continue to fight. Just support him. You might disagree, But let's agree on something. We want justice. You understand that? Right now, I'd like to introduce Mrs. Pinkney and civil rights activist Reverend Pinckney.
It is truly, truly an honor to be here today. I just want to thank you for this opportunity. Another day above the ground. But before I get into my speech, I'd like for my wife to say a few words. She held the fort down.
Come on. Yeah. Yes, she did.
She did a tremendous job. Probably without her, I wouldn't be here today.
That's right.
Well, I'll let her talk.
So overwhelmed.
It's okay. It's okay.
First of all, thank you, I needed that. I'm so thankful. First of all, I like to thank the Almighty God that we serve.
Amen.
And I thank Him because He brought all of you into our lives. All of you into our struggles, our fight. You did not let us down. You was there when I needed you. Even when I wasn't able to visit my husband.
Yes. All right.
I thank the ones, and you know who you are, that visit my husband when I couldn't, and those who provided transportation for me to go see my husband. Not that I don't know how to drive, I do know how to drive. But I know how Barron County government works. And I refuse to allow them or to be caught on the highway by myself, knowing that I could be pulled over at a random search. And that's all he needed, to be locked up in prison and to hear that something had happened to me. So I was very cautious about my going in and going out. But I just want to say thank you from the depths of my heart for all that you have done and all that you are doing. I'm not going to call names because I'm going to leave somebody out. And I don't want to do that because each and every one means so much to me. Detroit has really represented. Detroit has really represented. And I'm so thankful for donations and prayers, and I'm just so thankful because some of you saw me at my lowest, some of you saw me at my highest. Some of you saw that I even was trying to put on a smiling face even though I felt sad on the inside. You came through when they cut my husband's telephone calls off. You came through when you ordered food for my husband to eat. You came through with the necessary phone calls to MDOC. I thank you. We will not be standing here if it wasn't for you.
Amen. That's right.
We would not be standing here. And that's the truth. And I thank you for the hospitality. Thank you for the love, the good food. My husband put in his food request to Dave and Joyce, and I see that we got a baked potato and a steak with gravy and salmon. I'm going, Pinkney put in his request. and I just thank you for that. I don't know. I'm lost for words, but my heart is filled. My heart is so filled. This is the beginning of a victory.
Amen.
It's been a roller coaster ride over the last 2.5 years. There's been some ups and downs and some maybes, and you know, and I also thank Tim Holloway for the work that he has done and what he's still doing, because he is so dedicated. I thank Joyce and Dave, and I thank Marcita, and I thank Professor Anderson, because when I wanted to visit and I couldn't visit, you guys stepped up and you made sure he had visits. You sacrificed to visit him, and that means so much to me. And I know that they tried up in Marquette, they tried to kill him. They did. They harassed him, intimidated him, threw him up against the wall, waiting for him to react. I mean, they brought these ridiculous charges against him inside the prison. And when he came home, then I learned some more things that he had experienced in prison. So I'm just thankful that he's here. He came home. I mean, I have to say this. When I had asked him, after finding out, you know, that he was coming home on parole, and I said, well, what do you want me to bring for you to wear home? And he said, bring me a suit. And I said, okay. So I had packed him a little suitcase with a blue suit, white shirt, nice blue dress shoes, and his white hat. And so when I got inside the prison, the guard asked me, did you bring him any clothes? And I was kind of surprised, because I didn't think they would allow him to change clothes in the prison. So I told the guard I had some clothes in the car in a suitcase. He said, well, you can bring them in. I said, okay, thank you. I went out and got the suitcase, brought it back in, and the guard took his clothes out. And what was so amazing, I'm watching the guard. He didn't wrinkle up anything. He took it out the way I had it folded. And so he was kind of amazed at what I had brought him.
I'm going,
and
wow.
They didn't unfold the clothes. They didn't shake them to see if anything was going to fall out. He took it out of the suitcase just like I had it. And so while the guard was taking his clothes to the back prison cell, whatever they call that room, to the back, just to the back with the bars. And I went to the bathroom. When I came out, I saw my husband passing by with a guard, and I gave him the thumbs up with a big smile. And the reason I'm saying this is because when he changed clothes into his normal attire, he came out with such a glow, and he looked like he had never been in prison. That was such an amazing moment for me, and I never will forget it. So again, I just want to thank every individual in this room, every organization, every local union, or whatever you call it, the people that couldn't make it. I thank Ralph Porter for coming from New York. I thank Belinda Brown for coming from Slidell, Louisiana. And I thank others that I don't know, but you know, in here I will forever keep you all. Thank you.
Come on. give it up for us. God is able. God is able. He's able to do all things. There's nothing too hard for my God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But before I get into what I'm about to say, I want to call up my covenant brother, my guy, Phil Bassett. Come on up here, Phil. And my good friend, Professor Anderson. Where are you? Where are you, Professor Anderson? He stepped out, but I'll call him back later. Anyway, this is my good friend Phil, who wrote the book, Soldier of Truth. And he's a hero. So listen, let him talk to you.
I don't consider myself a writer. The only reason I ever wrote a book was because of this man. I've got a lot to thank him for. One thing is I'm a real cynical guy now. But I'm glad, because I know what's going on, at least for the most part. And I wouldn't if I hadn't been exposed to it by him. And he's gone through so much. So the ultimate sacrifice, really. So I think that if you're an activist and you don't happen to know what to do, you can always follow this man. And you'll be in a good spot, and you'll be fighting something very important, and that's what's got to be done. The book that I wrote is some court reporting, but a lot of it is how he has changed me, in my opinion, of our whole system. And I believe now that it's rotten to the core. All over the United States, not just Marion County, because it's in my county, Kalamazoo County. It's very bad there. And as I look around this room, this is the main gift that this man has given us. He's bringing us all together. And I am so proud to be in this company. And I thank you all for being here and letting me be here.
Soldier of Truth, right over there in that first row with his daughter, his lovely daughter, who I was fortunate enough to marry her. And here's the good news. She's been married for 10 years. When I put you together, you stay together. There is no other way out. But before I go on, I want to bring up my good friend Ralph from New York. He flew all the way in from New York just to be here with us today. And he's a hero himself. He's been fighting a long time. When I go to New York and visit him, I get excited. Because everything is going on there. And I'm happy to be there and join him. My good friend Ralph Pointer.
Thank you, Reverend. Listen very carefully, because the Reverend has given me 2 minutes. Now, I'm not going to go a second over those 2 minutes. Now, I've heard a lot of words today. And my question is, do we mean it? Because we have been sending lambs to fight this political battle with wolves. And we have identified a lion, a tiger. Reverend Pinckney has proven it. He's the person we have to send to the arena of politics to change America. Now, all movements that are progressive in this country was over the black question or the question of black people, people of color. Well, we've been given the opportunity and the job of doing it one more time. And let us begin today. Now, I've been involved for 60 years, and I have never seen a political action committee or a financial committee more widespread or more dedicated than this group. And so, for whatever position Reverend Pinckney is going to strive for, we must begin a political action committee to support that. And we must begin a fund to finance it.
Yes.
And coming from New York, I have been told, I was called on the phone and said, take the envelope. $250 from the Lynn Stewart organization, $250 for the New Abolitionist Movement as a beginning to fund the progress that we have made here through Reverend Pinckney. I don't know whether the next time I speak it's going to be Governor Pinkney or Mayor Pinkney or State Senator Pinkney, but it's going to be one of those because we mean it. Reverend Pinckney, make the choice and be that lion, and we have to hear you roar in that political arena that you decide to join. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
And I'm always excited, but I want to take a minute today, a moment of silence for my good friend, General Baker. For 60 seconds, nobody moving, nobody talking, nobody saying a single word. That was my friend. That was my guy. That was my mentor. He always said, they'll come, Reverend. They'll come. That was his word. So nobody talking. Let's give us 60 seconds. I want to thank you. Let's give General Baker a hand. He's not here, but he's right here in my heart. That's my friend. He'll always be my friend. And there's nothing someone can say to keep him from being my friend. A true soldier. A true soldier. A true soldier. That's what he was. And he always will be. Let me say this, the struggle that has taken place in the recent years in Benton Harbor, I have known very few quiet days. In the last 15 to 20 years, I have been in prison in Michigan 3 times. A day seldom passes that my family and I are not the recipient of some threat of death or something violent or to be placed in prison. I have been the victim of nearly a failed prosecution. So in the real sense, I have been battered by the storm of prosecution. I must admit that at times I have felt that I could no longer bear such a heavy burden and has been tempted to retreat to a more quiet and serene life. But every time such a temptation appears, something came to strengthen and sustain my determination. I have learned now that the master burden is a life precisely where I have taken this yoke upon myself. Some of my personal sufferings over the last 20 years has also served to shape my thinking. I always hesitate to mention these experiences for fear of conveying the wrong impression. A person who constantly calls attention to his trial and only his trials and suffering is in danger of developing a moral complex, impression others with that he is constantly seeking sympathy. It is possible for one to be self-centered in his self-sacrifice, but I feel somewhat justified in mentioning them. My personal trials have also taught me the value of unmerited suffering. As my suffering mounts, I soon realized that there were 2 ways in which I could respond to my situation. either to react with bitterness or seek to transform the suffering into a creative form. I decided to follow and transform my suffering into a creative force. I recognize the necessity for suffering. I have tried to make of it a virtue. It is only to save myself from bitterness I have attempted to see my personal ordeal as an opportunity to transfigure myself and heal the people involved in the tragedy situation that I have now obtained. I have lived these last 20 years with conviction that unearned suffering is redemptive. I have read the book, Byron Stevenson book, Just Mercy. And the story seems very simple to me. And it's very similar to my situation. My many years of struggling against inequality, abusive power, poverty, oppression, corruption, injustice have finally revealed something to me about myself. Being close to suffering death and the cruel and unusual punishment inside the prison system did not just illuminate the brokenness of others in a moment of anguish and heartbreak, it also exposed my own brokenness. You can't effectively fight abusive power, poverty, inequality, illness, corruption, oppression, and injustice and not be broken by it. We are all broken by something. We have all hurt someone and have been hurt. We all share the conditions of brokenness. No, we have to say that we're not going to allow this to happen in our community anymore. We got to say that we're going to get out of here and do what needs to be done. Whatever needs to be done, we are going to do it whether they like it or not. And if you're not with us, that means you are against us. And if you're not with us and you get in our way, we're going to run you over. That's right. We're going to run you over. Ain't no such thing that we're going to stand back and let you do what you're going to do. Because, hey, it's all about all of us. It's the future of our children that's at stake. We have allowed these people to kick us around, bully us, and do everything they want to do, and do exactly nothing. It's time that we change the way we do business. And we can do it. Can we do it? 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 All right. All right. I just want to thank y'all. Thank you so much for coming. I tell you, I'm excited. You know, the adrenaline is still flowing in my body. And I want to say something to my good friend, Professor Anderson. I don't know whether he's still here or not. Yeah, my good friend. He have been beyond the call of duty. And I love him. I've been always calling him at 8 o'clock on Sunday. You see, and I had a program where I could, how to set my life up, how to do things in the morning. I had a schedule, and I didn't deviate from that schedule. I don't care what's going on in the prison. I don't care. I got my own schedule, so I won't get conditioned. And the next time we talk, I'm going to go into part 2 about the prison. So, yeah, it's going down. It's going down. See, that was one of the things that I did. Like, I'll walk through the hall and I shout, "It is going down!" and the guards, everybody all get nervous and everything. They didn't know what I was talking about. And then everybody, when Dorothy come home to visit, they say his words is, "It's going down!" But I said it for a reason, to bring people together. You see, anytime that you can bring prisoners together to do anything, that's a great accomplishment. So we were successful with the food fight at Marquette. He got me out of there, which I wanted. They didn't know that. But I'm just saying, I had enough.
Hold on. We have one last item for the program. We want to bring up the Treasurer General, David Soul. And he has a gift for Mr. and Mrs. Pinkney.
I'm going to let them fight over it. Let me just say two things, because you heard a lot of speakers. Two things. But one thing he didn't tell you was that at Coldwater, he had the Nation of Islam group, which brought him in to preach to them, and the Moors, who also brought him in to talk to them, because they understood the political prisoner. And then when he was threatened by some individual prisoners who were not that stable, they provided security for him. And he had to explain to them they shouldn't kill this fellow because it would be bad for his sentence. But so he not only had support here, but he had support inside the walls, as he's described also. Two things. One is, well that was just something that really impressed me. But this case, Reverend Pinckney is all of us. If you have walked a picket line, circulated a petition, or marched for justice in any field or union, whatever, peace, anti-racism, you have done more than Reverend Pinckney did to be convicted. And when the Court of Appeals heard his appeal, they wrote in the decision that we can assume Reverend Pinckney was guilty because of his animosity to Mayor Hightower. Not because of any evidence, but because of animosity. And then they wrote, even if he didn't do it, we can assume he encouraged somebody else to do it because he was the leader. And they cited things. Reverend Pinckney brought Jesse Jackson to town. He had a radio station. He spoke and picketed against Whirlpool Corporation. These were cited in the court case. This is part of the appeal that's going to the Michigan Supreme Court. So we all have a stake in this being overturned, although we don't have much confidence in the Michigan Supreme Court, or the U.S. Supreme Court for that matter. Well, it's still being decided, but the briefs have been set up. So that was the first thing. And the second thing is that someone told me, not today, but I was talking to, someone had said, oh, the people freed Reverend Pinckney, and they said, no, he served his minimum sentence. So the people didn't free Reverend Pinckney. And I agree with that. We didn't free him. We brought him home alive. Because we took it seriously last year when he got shipped to Marquette, and Shredder and that was the name of one of the worst guards, and others, and the warden, they threatened him and told him, you're not going to live to leave here. And we had the emergency conference to save Reverend Pinckney right upstairs in this church in December. And we mobilized a mass campaign. I won't go through it all, but I believe that it did save his life. They intended for him to be dead meat. So we brought him home alive. Anyway, I'm going to leave off at that and just say, and I don't know who to give this to. I could be Solomon. I could be Solomon and say I'll split the child in half. But people, through your generosity and the generosity of organizations, and this includes an earlier presentation by Michigan Welfare Rights. So the total, including that, but not including Brother Pointer's money, which I didn't have there's going to be but this, with the welfare rights and all the other groups and individuals, we are presenting $3,677 for the Pinkney. Put your hand on it. Put your hand on it. Go in love.
Amen. And listen, we're going to have a protest in Benton Harbor at the county courthouse at 10:30. That's in St. Joseph, Michigan. Tuesday, July the 11th at 10:30. Those of you who can come, please come. Show the support. Show them who we are. We need numbers more than anything else. We just want to let them know that Reverend Pinckney is back. That's another thing. Also, we're going to get Whirlpool. Now, Whirlpool Corporation, if you were reading the newspaper, 79 people died in London. They had a faulty appliance, which was made by Whirlpool. 79, so now they're classified as a terrorist corporation. So we have to do what we have to do and take a stand. Give them a little something to let them know that we're thinking about it. See, even here, when things are going on here, you want to give somebody a little something, don't hesitate to call me. If you call me, I promise you, I will come. That's a promise, not a say-so. You say, well, you know, if you call me in Louisiana, you know I'm coming. You know I'm coming. Ain't no question. Rap, you call me in New York, you know I'm coming. So, on that note, I just want to thank everybody. I really appreciate everybody. And I tell you, it's been tremendous. When you get love like this, it makes you want to clap. It makes you want to clap. I tell you. Because the only thing I can say to each and every one of y'all, it's going down.
So more funds are coming in. This is the gift, welcome home, to help the Pinkneys stay on their feet after all these hard years. So you can still give me money. I'll be here till we close down. And checks, cash, and we'll forward the rest to Reverend and Mrs. Pinckney. Thanks. So it's more than that.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. The last word is, it's going down. Okay, that's going to close it out for today.
I know where you live. I'm in Detroit now. Okay. I know where you live. Please come on. You may be able to do this.
Thank you.